Hello everyone. In previous two videos, we have created a video called tmap part 1 and part 2. In those videos, we covered expression and we covered about filters and we covered about how to use variables in tmap, both static value and dynamic value using a select statement. So now in this part, let us cover about how to use the joins basically. In tmap, the joins, it will utilize as a lookup basically, and we will see step by step how to analyze it, how to implement it. Let us do step by step. For example, I have an EMP table. In EMP table, I have 14 records. Every employee belongs to one department number, one department. And the department name is not available in EMP table. It is available in DEPT. For as an example, if he needs to know Smith belongs to department number 20, but what is department number 20? You need to go and find it DEPT table. Department number 20 is research. So let me copy and paste these values. Now here in EMP, Alan belongs to department number 30. That is called sales. So that you can identify in DEPT table. Ward belongs to department number 30, which is also sales. So here I want to get one more column in this. In the place of department number, in target table, I want to capture the department name. For example, my requirement is I want to load employee number, e-name, job, MGR, high date, salary, commission. But in the place of department number, I want to load department name, which is available in DPT table. And the joint condition between these two is department number and department number. The joint condition between these two is department number and department number. I hope it is clear. The requirement is clear. So I want to load the EMP data into a Snowflake table, From Oracle database, I want to load employee data into a Snowflake table, but in the place of department number, I want to load department name, which is available in DEPT. So I need to join EMP DEPT, and I need to get for every department number, what is the D name available. Okay, what is the department name? So let's develop that step by step. Right click here, create a standard job, and I'm providing the name as job underscore, and this is for tmap joins. So I'm providing the concept name. I'm providing the concept name as a job name, and we need to enter the purpose of what is the purpose of this job, like example, employee data load, etc. Some meaningful information description we need to provide. This will help us, whatever the purpose and description we are providing here, it will help us to develop the documentation basically. So I created the job. Now. And so I need two tables right now. One is EMP to get these columns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And D name I need to get from DEPT. So I need to import these two tables. So how to import these two tables? First, you need to have a metadata. That means connection should be available. Once you got the connection, you can right click on this connection and you can select retrieve schema. You can right click on the connection and you can select retrieve schema. These two tables already imported, but if you want to create a new connection, you can right click on this and create the new connection. You can watch a separate video which is called Oracle to Snowflake data load. There I have shown you how to create the connections. You can watch that video. And here, if you want to import the tables, then right click on the connection, then select retrieve schema, then it will list all the tables available in the database. See here, if you click on next, then it will list all the tables available. These are the schemas. Under schema, you will be having tables. Example here, under BI, these are the list of the tables which I have. These are the list of the tables which I am having under BI. Okay, so whatever the tables you wanted, you can import. So I already imported, that was the reason I'm not re-importing. So my requirement is I want to load EMP. Yes. and I need to load DPT. Department name is not available in employee, which is available in DPT. That was the reason I am considering two tables as a source right now. So I'm selecting both as TDB input. These are considered as a source for my target table. So what is your target table? Let us load into Snow EMP itself. Yep, you can pull this table. And I'm selecting it as output. The reason is I want to load the data, whatever available in EMP DPT into Snow EMP. So this is my target table. Target table always it has to be TDB output. The source tables has to be TDB input. Okay. So now we need to join this. One of the way we can join using is tmap. You can place the cursor here. You can place the cursor in designer, then write tmap. Or else tmap comes under processing components. So inside the processing, inside the palette, you will be able to see list of the components which are available for Talend. And here you can find if you expand the processing, okay, you will be able to see all the components available for processing. Tmap comes under processing. You can just drag, select this and you can drag. Or if you know the name of the component, just place the cursor in the designer, write TM. Automatically, all the components which are starting with TM, it will show. It will list. Then you can select the required components. So two options, two ways you can get the component into designer. So right now, few columns I need to get from EMP and one column I need to get from DPT. So I need to provide the join between this. So how to provide? First, you need to click on row and main link into tmap. So automatically, whatever the columns of employee, you will get here. This is my source right now. And DPT also I need it. So right click here, DPT, row, main. So these two are linked. This is considered as main and the second one is considered as lookup here. This is EMP is considered as a main, which is primary, you can see here, and DPT is considered as lookup. If you double click, it will show as row 1, row 2. The reason is the label names are considered as row 1, row 2. But what is row 1, what is row 2, we will not be able to know from here. Okay. But if you see, row 1 indicates EMP, row 2 indicates DPT. But you can change this label name for a better understanding. Go to here, select the label, go to component and sorry, just double click this and provide the label name. Provide the label name. I am providing the label name as it is EMP employee. And this one, I'm providing the name as department. Just place the cursor over here, then it will allow us to edit. Okay, then after editing, just go here, then you will be able to see employee and department instead of row 1, row 2. Now we will be able to easily understand which is EMP and which is GP. Now I need to provide the join. So what is the join condition? Whenever you are working for a particular project or a requirement, the joins between the two tables will be provided by the client. So we need not to worry. And here my join is EMP needs to be joined with the department using department number. So just select this and pull over this column here. If you want to join to department name, just place it here. If you want to join to location, just place it here. So whatever the column you want to utilize from employee for joining, just pull that column and place it on department number. That's all. Now the join is provided. So now, whether this is an inner join or left outer or right outer, what type of join it was selected. Tmap settings. Now you can see. These are the properties of our join. Considered by default as left outer. That means, for as an example, in EMP, I have an employee, think that this is 90, but 90 is not available in DPT. So still, this Smith record will get loaded even though the department number is 90. Just consider it is 20 right now here, but just consider it as 90 for understanding. think that Smith department number is 90, but 90 is not available in this list. Still, my employee record will load and department name will be null because we have chosen left outer join. So all the records from EMP table will load into the target side, and the record which is available in department, it will load the department. Otherwise, it will just load null against that record. That we will see. And what is this load once? Lookup model is nothing but, for example, here, whenever you are executing this job, example, there are 14 records. For every record, consider that it is using a row-based approach. Consider that right now our job is inserting every row by row. Okay. So here, load once indicates whatever the data available in department table, it will fetch once and it will store in cache. It will store in cache. And each record available here will try to join with that records available in cache. This is called load once. And here, reload at each row. So this is nothing but if there are 14 records, for every record while you are loading from employee to this Snowflake table, for every record, this DPT table will try to fetch the data from database. Example, first, what is the record you are having? Smith. While loading Smith record, it will execute select star from DAPT, and whatever the records available in DAPT, all 5 records, it will fetch. Then second record is again Alan. Then again, it will do the same thing. All these 5 records, even though it is available in the cache, still it will go to the database and it will fetch. That means employee is having 14 records. 14 times this select star from DEPT will be executed. This lookup table will fetch the data 14 number of times. How many records we are having in EMP? Those many number of times. The DEPT complete table it will try to fetch. So this will lead to performance issue. That was the reason we don't prefer reload at each row. Reload at each of cache. This is nothing but reload at each row. What happens? It doesn't load the data in the cache. It fetches, it compares, and it loads. Whereas reload at each row, for example, very first row while inserting Smith record, it will fetch all the 5 records from DPT and it will load in cache. And while fetching Allen, you did few modifications to this DPT table. Still our data load is not completed, but during the processing, you made few changes. Only those changes only it will store in the cache. Rest of the records, it will not do anything. Like example, it fetched all 5 records. It loaded into the cache. And while processing the second record, it will fetch all 5 records, but it will not do any change to the cache. The reason is all 5 records are already available in cache, so it will ignore. But it is fetching, it does. It will fetch all 5 records from the database, but it will not replace anything from the cache until or unless you changed anything. And for example, here in the place of operation, you have written OP. So very first time, when you are processing Smith record, you have the name as operations. And while processing Blake, in the backend, you changed this as OP. Before completion of the load, the 6-7 records are loaded, and while processing 8th record, during that time or prior to that, you changed the name of department number 40 name, you changed it to OP. Then it will fetch, while processing Scott, it will fetch all 5 records, but 4 records are already available in the cache without any changes. Only 1 record was changed, and this record will update with in the cache. It will fetch all 5 records available in the database for every row while processing, but it will ignore if the records are already available in the cache. So that is at reload at each row cache. So we always prefer load once. Why? Because if there are 1 million records, 1 million number of times your DPT table will fetch, which will lead to unnecessary performance issue. That was the reason we don't prefer this option. And load once, I have explained you, but we will see in practical. Okay. Tmap, I'm linking it to new output, and I'm selecting to new Snow EMP. So here new output, I have selected, I did the right click on tmap and I selected new output. That means I'm creating a new output. And when I selected the target, it will ask to provide the name full. I provided the name as full load. And if you go to tmap, you will be able to see that output. Now, let me do auto map, or you can map one column by column, one column by column you can map, or you can do auto map. All the common columns will be auto mapped. And here from this table, I want dname in the place of department number, right? Just full out here. Now delete this department number. So how many columns I have? Employee number, in job, MGR. In the place of department number, I taken dname. Click on OK. Would you like to propagate the changes? If you click on no, then the target side, it will have still these old columns. Whatever the columns available in EMP, only those columns will be there. But if you click on S, the target side, I mean this table will have all the columns which are available in tmap. So click on S. So automatically if you go here and if you go to edit schema, then you will be able to see name and department number will be gone because you have changed, you have selected S, propagate the changes. So whatever the columns available in your output, only those columns will be available in your target schema, not in the database, not in the database, not in the database. Database still you will be having same columns as whatever you have. But here in the edit schema, you will be having all, you will be having columns which are same as here. But in case the propagate changes, you by mistake, you did not select OK and you did the cancel, then what you have to do? Then no problem, you select the target table and just select the sync columns. Okay, then what happens when you click on edit schema, these two will be in sync. So there is no chance of error now. How many columns you have? Department number is not available now if you see. Employee number, in and job, MGR, hided salary commission. In the place of department number, we have dname. Now the target action I wanted the target action as drop if exist and create. So while creating the table, it will consider only the columns which are available here. For example, right now in the database, I have the columns as create date, modified date, total salary, department number. These 4 columns right now in your new schema, it is not available. In your new edit schema, it doesn't have all these 4 columns. In the place of these 4, you have dname. So when you selected drop if exist and create, it will create the columns. It will create the table and it will consider only the columns which are available in this edit schema. Okay. And the output action I wanted, whatever the columns which are be mapped as per this, the output action would be insertion of the data. You can select update, insertion, and delete. All these options you can select. Run this and see. So in tmap, we selected load once. That means first it will fetch all the records of DPT. You can see that practically now. It will show the number of rows which are processed first. Here you will be able to see which records are fetched first in between these two. Yes, see 5 records are fetched. This is not processed yet. Now it is started. 1 record is fetched. There is an error here. What is the error? What is the error? We got an error. While creating the target table, looks like we got the error, SQL comparison error caused by SQL comparison error. Okay. Insert. Okay. So here at the target table side, we have received an error. What is error to understand? Just copy this and go here. Sorry, and try to identify what is error. Here you can see it is a SQL compilation error. SQL comparison error, we got compilation error. That means looks like this is an error while creating a table might be. The reason is here we have selected drop if exist and create. That means before execution of this job, first it will drop the table and it will try to create. Okay. So all the lookups are executed first this one, then target table will be dropped and created as per the schema. So right now we got the error as SQL comparison error. Then how to analyze this error? Basically, you can go to activity here and you can go to query history. In Snowflake, this is one of the advantage. Whereas in Oracle, if you don't have enough privileges, it will be very difficult for us to identify what query it is issued, etc. The only way approach is based on this log file, we need to understand what error. I know that there is these two are errors which are leading, basically the cause of the error, but few people will not be able to understand why, because this is not in a improper it is. But we know that it is something related to SQL. Whereas in Snowflake, if you have the credentials of that, whatever the user you used for doing the ETL loads, or if you're an admin, if you have enough privileges, then you can go to query history, then you can select the user which is used for loading the data. Example, my ETLs are running using data analytics user. If you select the target table, you will be able to identify what is the user used for loading. Then here you can go to query history and you can select in the place of all, basically just go to query history, go to query history and select the data analytics. Yes. And you can select in the drop down as last day and it will show only the records which are run in last 24 hours. And here you can see which got failed. So create table, you can say snow EMP. This is the one. Why it is failed? Because there is, see, looks like here is error. For varchar, we cannot have a decimal. For the number data type, we can have a decimal, but for varchar, the decimals are not allowed. This is a related to data type issue. So that means why it has taken 14,0. Maybe we have mentioned decimals in our target table. So go to here, target table, just cross check the edit schema. Okay. Cross check the edit schema. Here you can see there are decimals, precision is provided for the DNAME. Just remove that precision. Click on OK. And if you don't sync, then what happens inside the tmap? You will still have that precision. See here. When you click on sync, let me edit and cross check before selecting the sync. Just cross check. See again, still I got this one. Remove this. Click on OK and sync the columns. Just cross check again. Let's do one thing in tmap itself. Let's remove the precision. Apply. Click on OK. Click on yes. Select the target table. Then click on edit. At the left side and right side, let's cross check. Yes, both sides the precision has gone. Now click on save. Run this job. So it will fetch the 5 records first because it is considered as a lookup. Then it is creating the table. Then it fetched all 14 records inside the target. It will load the data right now. So the advantage of Snowflake is whatever the operation happened at the Snowflake side, you'll be able to see step by step in the query history. If you have the privileges. Example, I'm selecting here last day. Okay, and you can refresh this. And these are the steps which are executed now. First, it is dropping the table. You can see the command. Then it will create the table which has dname. Now decimals are not there right now. It has taken 14. Then it is trying to insert the data available in EMP into a file, and then a temporary table is created. Then it will load the data in whatever available into the temporary table, and from there again it will insert into the main table. These are the list of the steps which will be executed for every ETL process. As Talend is a ELT approach, definitely it will create the temporary table before loading the data into actual table. Okay, so right now, how can we cross check whether the data is loaded properly? You can just do select star from, you can execute this table, then you can see here you can see dname. For every employee, instead of department number, I got the dname. How many records right now I have? Only 14. Why? Example, if you see for 10 in the DPT table, there are two records. There are two records. Then definitely all the employees who are having department number 10, it should have a Cartesian. Generally, if you write a query, then definitely it will lead to the Cartesian gen. Let's see that. EMPE, comma, DPTD, okay, where E dot department number equal to D dot department number. And here I am taking E name, comma, E dot department number, comma, D dot D name. So what I'm doing is I'm joining EMP and DPT table using department number. And from EMP side, I'm trying to get two columns, and DPT side, I'm getting one column. If you execute this, every employee will be twice for the department number 10. All the employees of department number 10, order by DPT number, let me write as order by, I want to display the data in a particular order. If you see, all the records of 10 is displayed twice. Miller is displayed twice, King is displayed twice, you can see. The rest of the data is not repeated, only 10th department is repeated because EMP, when you are joining with DPT, for the department number 10, there are two records. So if you execute this, how many records you are seeing? 17. Why? Because total there are 3 records in department number 10. So 3 into 2, 6. 3 into 2, 3 to 6. So total there are 17. But here if you see, I got only 14 records. The reason is when you are using a lookup, even though there are 2 records, it will fetch only 1 record. Why? Because I have selected here unique match. I have selected here unique match. In the place of unique, if I select all matches, that means how many records? Clerk will be displayed not twice. Clerk will be displayed twice. Department number 10, I'm having 2 records, one with accounting, the other one with testing. I have 2 records for department number 10, one with accounting, testing. So right now, if you see clerk is displayed with accounting, clerk is displayed with testing, this we call it as Cartesian join. It is happening because there are duplicates in the DPT table. And lookup will act efficiently. If you use only unique match, then it will try to get only one match, even though there are multiple matches available. But if you use all matches, the match model has all matches, then definitely clerk will be loaded twice. Let's see that. So there are only 14 records. You can confirm this one more time. Okay. And right now the execution started, looks like. Let's see. Yes, it started. Let's see. So clerk, there are 3 records available under department number 10. All 3 records will repeat twice, which is 3 into 2, 6. So total 3 records will display twice. Now you see there are only 14. If you re-execute this, you will be able to see 17 records. See here, 17. So if you want, write down order by department number, comma, e-name, then you will be able to see all the records which are, order by year. We don't have department number here. So write order by ename or order by ename. This is better. So you will know exactly which record got repeated. So there are example, Clark belongs to department number 10, and there is one department with accounting, the other with testing. It is repeated twice. As there are two records available in DEPT for the department number 10. So who are the employees having under 10? They are repeated twice. King repeated twice. Miller repeated twice. That's all. So this is the difference between all matches and unique match. If you use first match, whatever the first match it will take. Okay, it will take one record. Even there are two matches, it will take first match. Whatever it picked up. In that lookup, if you go and if you search, select start from DEPT where department number equal to 10, you will get two records, but it will fetch only one record because you have selected first match. Now 14 records only it is loaded. So clerk, it is considered as accounting. Okay. Now, so we understood what is match model. We know unique match, first match, all matches we understood. Now, what is all rows? All rows in the sense, irrespective of this joint condition, every record will try to load those many number of records available in DPT. For example, if your clerk will be loaded 5 times. Why? Because there are 5 records in DPT. Irrespective of the joint condition, you are processing every record available in EMP with every record available in DPT. So that means 14 into 5. That is the number of records it will be processed. The reason is you have selected here all rows. The match model you have selected as all rows. I'm selecting all rows. Click on apply, click on OK. So right now in the place of 14 records, it will load 14 into 5. Every record will be loaded 5 times because in DPT you have 5 records. $70 records are loaded. From EMP 14 records are fetched, from DPT 5 records, 14 into 5, 70. If you go and if you see, this is called all records. Every employee will be loaded twice if you see. Adams 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you see, the department name will be different. Adams once loaded with accounting, research, sales, operation testing. Again, Allen also. So how many records available in DPT table? Those many number of times every record will be processed. It is nothing but without a joint condition. If you join two tables the same way, it is a Cartesian join, we call it as. And here now, let me take unique match now. And here load once, in the place of load once, I am taking reload at each row. In load once, what happened? All 5 records it fetched, then 14 records it fetched, then it loaded. Right now, if you see, reload at each row. That means every row present in EMP, for every row, it will refetch the DPT table. All 5 records will be fetched for every record available in EMP. That means 40 number of times the DPT records will be fetched if you want to use this here. 5 records. For every record available in EMP, it will fetch all the 5 rows. Reload at each row. So it will fetch EMP first record, then DPT 5 records, then EMP second record, DPT 5 records. That the way it process here. See here. Because there are less number of records, you'll not able to see this exactly. But if you observe slowly, first record fetched, again this is starting. Second record again it is changing the status to starting. That way it works. And in the place of this each row, if you select reload cache, then what happens? It will fetch, but it will store the data in the cache. Whenever the records fetched, if there is no change in the data, then it will utilize the cache and it will process. If there is any record got changed during the processing, that it will update in the cache. So starting, yes. Always it is fetching for every record, it is trying to fetch 5 rows, but it loads the data in the cache. Then it will process the join, then it will loads the data. That is the difference between reload at each row cache and reload at each row. Okay, here the cache doesn't utilize. And if you want to load the data into temporary table, then we can enable it as true. Otherwise, you can enable it as false. Then you can cross check this. What happens if you enable it as true? You can cross check by changing this and run it, and just go to Snowflake activity and observe yourself. Just I want to do it by yourself, this particular one thing. And if you're still not able to understand what is the difference, you can mention in the comment, then I will repeat this. It will try to load the data. It doesn't load the data into a temp table, but if you enable this as true, it loads the data into a temp table, then it processes the records. That is the only difference. And what is the load once I have selected, right? I have selected, yes, load once. Then go to this activity, click on this worksheet and go to activity, and you will be able to see what are the statements it executed for loading the data right now. Okay, I don't want this, I want only last one day. Okay, and snow EMP, okay. Okay, so these are the steps. It will drop the table, it will create the snow EMP, then it is loading the data into a file, then it is creating a temporary table, then it is copying the data into the temporary table, then from there it is inserting the data into main table. And this temporary table will be available at source side. This is a target and this one is at source side. This is not at Snowflake side. This one is at Snowflake side. I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions, you can mention in the comment section. Then definitely I will be able to replay or I will create a new video to answer your questions. Thank you.